What's up, guys? How's it going? Back at you again with another episode of the DeepThoughts podcast with the best co-host in the world, Pixel. Pixel, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing all right. I'm actually just getting over a cold right now, but I'm eager to get back into it.
Well, hopefully we won't. This episode won't last too long, so you can, power through that cold and stuff like that. Especially because there's a lot of stuff going on this coming
Yeah,
week that
yeah, I gotta get over this.
we're definitely gonna be talking about. So don't you're gonna be
Oh yeah.
patient zero.
Oh no, let's not start. I don't want to be patient zero.
What we're talking about, guys, is welcome to episode 10, where we're going to be talking about TwitchCon prep. You guys didn't know that this following weekend is actually TwitchCon, which is Friday, October 26th to October 28th, correct, Pixel?
That's right.
All right, so a 3-day event. If you guys don't know what TwitchCon is, well, it's a convention all about twitch.tv.
hmm
So, we're going to be talking a lot about that. Mostly the whole episode about just preparing for TwitchCon, what you guys should kind of expect, how you guys should be interacting with your fellow man there. Basically, just generally how to be sociable at a convention if it is your first time going to convention, or maybe it's a repeat time and there's some things that you just forget about or overthink. Because I don't know, every time I go to a convention, I feel like I forget one thing at least, which is
Oh yeah,
kind
yeah,
of annoying.
totally.
So it will be good. Pixel wrote all the notes for that, so he's going to be heading up that part. But before we begin with the news, we have a handful of announcements. First announcement is that we are officially on episode 10 of this podcast. So I'm clapping for myself. If you guys can't hear that in the mic, I'm clapping. Good job, myself and Pixel. Pats on the back for that one. This is when, if we were a bigger podcast, we would, have like a highlight reel of like all the funniest moments that happened in the last 10 podcasts, but we don't have that.
Oh,
But just once again, I feel like we say it every single podcast episode because we really mean it. Thanks again for your
yes,
continued
thank you so much.
support in watching our podcast and listening to our podcast. And I know it's like a little weird this week because like we weren't with you guys last week. We took a week off to prep for this episode. Also, there was not a lot of content last week. So, we have a good episode for you. Maybe be a bit longer than last time, but at least it will be jammed packed, if anything, which will be
fun.
good. So thank you guys for that support. Another thing I wanted to kind of announce is that I've actually started an additional podcast to this podcast called This Week in Hearthstone. And it's also just solo. So keep that in mind. There's no Pixel there. But that podcast records every Thursday night at 10 p.m. PST. And the goal of the podcast is to have a pretty short podcast, somewhere between 25 and 35 minutes per episode, where I just rehash all the news that has gone on in Hearthstone for the week, just for people that are kind of commuting or on the go or just want quick and concise and condensed stories. Because a lot of Hearthstone podcasts are out there, but a lot of them go for like 2 to 3 hours. They have multiple hosts. There's multiple tangents. And I just kind of wanted something that was like, hey, I want my news, but I don't have time to look at like 8 or 9 articles
Right?
on Hearthstone.com or Hearthpwn or look at a tweet. So I kind of consolidate that all for you. And you guys could go look that up on Spotify or iTunes. It's This Week in Hearthstone.
Yeah, definitely check it out.
Yeah. And we're only on episode 2, so it just started a couple weeks ago. So it's going good right now. It's pretty fun. And then finally, before we get into the news, last announcement that we have is we are actually going to be doing an additional episode this week because of TwitchCon, and that will actually be Friday morning, so October 26th. I'm 99% sure this is going to happen, but I haven't heard anything official from Twitch. But they usually allow you to co-stream TwitchCon and any panel that is at TwitchCon or any event that is on TwitchCon, including the opening ceremony, where there's usually some useless information and statistics they give us about the most used emote on Twitch. But they also announce maybe 4 to 5 really important, really major things. Last year, I believe they announced like more quality controls or something like transcoding, video transcoding.
Yeah,
I think the year before that they announced
Twitch Prime.
Twitch Prime.
Twitch
Wait,
Prime, huge.
last year did they announce the affiliate program? Or was that a little bit before?
That might have been before.
That might have been before. But anyway, they announced some pretty big things. So the plan for Friday, October 26th is I will be on live at twitch.tv/Ryan Kubo for the keynote. And just kind of watch it, give like my first like gut impressions and reactions. And while I'm watching it with you guys, I will also be making show notes. And then right after the keynote is done, I will record a solo episode of Deep Thoughts podcast where I will record and stream that as well and give a more in-depth look at the announcements that are had there. And that will be uploaded and up a couple hours after that on Friday. So there's going to be 2 episodes of Deep Thoughts podcast in your inbox. And like we said earlier, or a couple weeks ago, I should say, Pixel is also going to be there on the ground floor. So he will not be with me, so I will be soloing that. So also check out next week's episode on Tuesday, hopefully, October 30th, because that one is going to be jam-packed. We're going to get Pixel's impression on all the Twitch announcements. We're going to get his impressions of the ground floor there. We're going to get what he did at TwitchCon and you know what he did with his time and how he enjoyed it. And on top of that, BlizzCon's coming up, and both Pixel and I are going there Friday, November 2nd to November 3rd. So Tuesday's episode will also be talking about BlizzCon predictions, what to expect if it's your first time going to BlizzCon, etc. So this is kind of a good episode to do a prepping for TwitchCon type of thing, because it's also a prepping for BlizzCon, which
really is
super good.
It's really a prep for cons in general. Yeah, so this is going to be helpful for anybody who's going to either or.
Yeah, definitely.
To remind everyone, the keynote is at 11 a.m. on Friday.
Okay,
so
good.
That's when you want to tune in.
I was going to start at 10 a.m.
Well, 10 a.m. you can watch the pre-note performance, which is like usually some sort of musical act. So those are usually fun to check in to watch too.
I'll be on at 11 a.m.
All right.
I just remember like the last couple times they were a little like, I wouldn't say cringe, but they were a little kind of like awkward. The last one was like, I believe like a pianist or something. And he was kind of like he was kind of like playing piano or something. It was kind of awkward.
That was 2 years ago. That was like the jazz pianist.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I said, go check out and check out those podcasts episodes when they come out. You'll be getting an extra one in your feed. It will not be an error. And I will be soloing that one, so it'll be a little bit different. So that is it for all the announcements. So let's jump right into the news, since we do have a couple of news articles before we get into prepping for TwitchCon. So excuse me. First article of the day. Fortnite announced a support a creator program, which I think is super, super interesting. Fortnite's been pretty, I don't know, they've been really good at just like really remembering about their creators and stuff, whether it be like on Twitch or YouTube or other platforms. I know that some of the items that are in the Fortnite shop have been created by Twitch streamers. I think the biggest one is the Plum Ninja, which is I think a plumbing thing with a ninja sword attached to it. It was made by Ninja. The official Fortnite count went into his chat a long time ago, probably a year ago, and was like, "Hey Ninja, what do you want? What would you like to see in the shop?" And he's like, "I would just like a plunger, like a samurai sword on it." And the next day it was on the shop. So they've done that. They've also given out the Twitch Prime packs to other, like they've given it out early, like a couple days early to Dr. Lupo and Tim the Tatman and Ninja and stuff like that, so they could promote it on their streams. Just stuff like that. So this is basically something that's going to be running from October 10th through December 31st. Like we said, we were off last week, so but it's running until December 31st. And pretty much what it says is that when you're checking out or buying anything in the cash shop, you can enter somebody's username into the support page, and I guess they get a small percentage of money of whatever you purchase. It's pretty small. From what I understand, it's anywhere between 5 to 10% depending on the creator. So
it's not too bad.
If $20 a skin or something like that, you know what I mean? You're going to be supporting him. Just an FYI though, when you put in someone's name, so we'll just use my name for example, even though I'm not on there. Let's say you go on there, you type Ryan Kubo. You are supporting me for the next 14 days. There's no way to change that and put in another supporter's name. So after 14 days or 2 weeks, my name will disappear, and then you will have to remember, unfortunately, to manually enter someone else's name into that thing, you can re-enter my name again, or you can put another content creator's name in there, but it's not going to remind you, hey, by the way, you didn't fill out a creator's name. So remember that. If you guys check out the show notes, or if you just go to the Epic Games main news section and go to support a creator, there is a list of people that you can search to see which creators you can support directly. And the list is about 7,000 users right now. So pretty much anyone you can think of on Twitch can be on there. If you can also apply to be part of the creator page, and it's pretty easy to join that if you guys are looking into that. I mean, I think almost everyone can apply pretty much. You have to regularly create and release content of Fortnite over the last 30 days, have at least 1,000 followers on at least one social media platform. That includes Twitch. If you guys have 1,000 followers on Twitch, they said they do count that. You need to complete the affiliate agreements from Epic, and then you have to be capable of receiving payment in the form that Epic supports, so probably in PayPal or something like that. So it's pretty easy to join. Almost anyone can join it, I feel like. And like I said, this program will last until December 31st of this year. So, Pixel, thoughts?
I think this is a really cool idea. Like I like you said, this is really interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a company do something like this before, to directly support someone who plays their game like this. I mean, sure, there's like sponsorships or something like that, but this is like a unique sort of interaction that you have, where you have the viewers or like anybody who's playing the games just directly supporting you in this way. So I think this is great. I'm all for new revenue stream supporting streamers. This is great.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it's only a limited time event, but I do agree with what you said. I haven't seen any other video game company really do this type of thing. I think the most I've really seen them do is like they'll sponsor a stream or something like that, or they'll retweet when the person's going live on their social media handles, or maybe they put them on their launcher or something like that, but nothing in like a monetary sense. And even though the cut is pretty small, some of these people have some pretty loyal fans. I can only imagine, Ninja support a creator right now.
Oh, geez,
that guy is getting big bucks. And just to let you know, maybe I didn't mention this, they're not going to give you V-Bucks. They are giving the creators like cash.
Yeah, like actual money.
Actual money. So I think that's actually really, really, really amazing to do. I don't know, Pixel, you gonna support a creator if you buy his skin or something like that?
Since I don't really buy skins, I don't know if I can actually support anybody, but
fair.
If I have a streamer in mind if I were to actually to take part in this program.
Okay, legit, I've bought in like 5 skins since this was announced, and I haven't supported anyone. I keep forgetting.
All that money gone to waste.
Yeah, so probably a good like, I don't know, like 15, 20 bucks maybe. It wasn't that much. No, it was more than that. It was like 40. I've spent on this game. I don't even play really much, guys. Just sometimes the skins get me,
Yeah,
or like some of the little
skins are
emotes.
amazing.
Well, this is the thing, right? You have to buy like in 20 bucks or whatever, and then like the skin's 15 bucks, and then I have 500. I have like $5 or 500 V-Bucks left, and then I'm like, okay, this is a cool little dance, and I just buy it. Like, let's be honest, that's what really happens.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, though, check that out. Like I said, the event runs from October 10th to December 31st. Go check the list to go make sure that you're supporting the correct person as well and get their name right. It doesn't look like, from what I understand, caps or anything like that matters. So just put in the person's name, type it in right, make sure that you're supporting the person that you want to support. And like I said, once again, you can go to the support a creator page as well. That's epicgames.com/affiliate if you want to become an affiliate partner for this creator event. They also announced that down the road there'll be other creator events as well. So it's probably good just to sign up now and just set it and forget it type of thing for the future.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But yeah, next up we have the TwitchCon 2018 sponsors, exhibitors, and esports events. This article came out a little bit ago, and basically in this article they said that they were announcing a bunch of sponsors and booths and everything like that. We have a confirmation that there's more than 140 exhibitors taking place, and that there is a handful of what they call premier sponsors. These premier sponsors being Legion by Lenovo. What is this? Cacao Games. I guess they do Black Desert Online. They have Level Up TwitchCon with Twitch Prime, so they have Twitch Prime type of stuff. They also announced, I think this is news, right? Is that Twitch Prime members unlock exclusive perks, including a $10 credit and free Twitch tote bag at the Loot Cave.
Oh, cool.
So apparently, affiliates, you get a $10 credit. So that's cool.
Oh, no, Twitch Prime members.
Oh, Twitch Prime members. Sorry, I thought
Yeah,
it
so
said affiliate.
anybody-
Oh, anybody. Someone go claim that for me,
Anybody with
guys.
Prime. So you just have to stop by the Twitch Prime booth, and I believe you have to activate something. And then
Okay.
once you do that, you can actually go to the Loot Cave and use your $10 credit and get all the goodies.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about the Loot Cave later because that might be not worth it for the amount of time you'll be waiting in that, but we'll see. And the Loot Cave is what Twitch is calling their TwitchCon merch store, by the way.
Right.
And then also there's the Intel Streaming Zone. It's game, record, stream without compromise. Intel Streamer Zone, which has become a staple at Twitch events around the world, will host 72 streamers all weekend long for more than 108 hours of content. Full schedule coming soon. Now, I didn't even remember what this was. I was like, what? This has been at BlizzCon and this has been at TwitchCon? So this is apparently that thing that's at TwitchCon where it's like a soundproof booth where a streamer's like sitting in, streaming from. And they make it sound like way cooler than it is. Like, schedule coming soon. It's like, guys, this is what it is. It's a noise-proof booth. And they're literally in like a booth with, see-through windows. But, you can't really bang on the window or, yell in there, be like, hey, what's up, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're streaming. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you're just literally just looking at someone playing on a computer. And it's like looking at a zoo animal. It's kind of weird. That's all I'm saying. It is weird. It is.
It really is just like that.
You know what I mean? It's like, whoa, they're streaming. You know what I mean?
It's a person.
But it's not a meet and greet.
It's a streamer.
It's not a meet and greet, guys. They're actually live streaming from TwitchCon. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah. So just don't do anything weird on camera.
Yeah. Also, TwitchCon will be at home to a number of events and top games and streamers, including Broadcaster Royale. So apparently what this is it's sponsored by Omen, and this is the biggest battle royale battleground streamers go head to head in the new style of tournament presented by Omen. I guess they're going to be fighting each other. Streamers must survive against the competition and gauntlet of Omen challenges that require players to embrace risky strategies. So that'll be October 26th at 1:30 p.m. Another thing they're going to be doing is Doritos Bowl, which will feature the Twitch's biggest personalities competing in Call of Duty Black Ops or Blackout, the new Battle Royale mode. And I thought this was interesting. Dorito Bowl team captains for events will be Ninja, Shroud, Courage, and Dr. Lupo. So
that's a star-studded lineup.
Already, yeah, exactly. And also already, 2 of them are Fortnite streamers, and one of them I thought was a PUBG main streamer who's now doing Blackout. And this is happening at 12:30 on Saturday, October 27th. So I do not believe Shroud is entering the PUBG one, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So that event is going on. And as well, I see a trend here at TwitchCon, by the way. The Fortnite Fall Skirmish Grand Finals will be on September 21st, blah, blah, blah. And there will also be a thing, there will also be something at TwitchCon as well. From what I understand, and I don't think it's like leaked information or whatever, the Grand Finals will take place over 3 days at TwitchCon with an open and invitational tournament to determine the Fall Skirmish champions. And from what I understand, it's going to be like a bunch of streamers were invited, and one of the events is going to be duos, but your partner is randomly selected from the crowd.
Oh, I heard about this.
Like, it's going to be like some pretty funny moments or whatever. I know
that's going to be great.
I know one of my favorite streamers, Disguised Toast, who we've talked about on this podcast before. We've analyzed his YouTube video on how much a streamer makes. He says he's pretty nervous about it and stuff like that. He was talking about on his stream. So, that is going to be there as well.
Man.
And then as well as GDQ makes its debate, and they will have 50 hours of they will have a 50+ hour speedrunning marathon during TwitchCon live. So
people are going to be like camping overnight in one of these convention or these conference halls, watching people speedrunning.
Yeah. So, that just wanted to give a quick rundown for all these things.
I do want to point out one thing though. Like, have you seen the prize pool that Fortnite has compared to PUBG?
Yep.
It's insane.
Yeah.
$10 million compared to 300,000.
Yeah. I mean, Fortnite did say $100 million for the 2018-2019 season, and they are not lying. There's some pretty easy money on there.
Around.
They definitely are not. So I mean, most of these events, when I was there last year at TwitchCon, one of the big ones was H1Z1. I believe they had some type of tournament there. And there were some
Hmm.
pretty funny moments there. I remember like Soda Pop and killed Dr. Disrespect or something like
Yes, that
that.
was
That was pretty funny.
great.
But I mean, the events themselves, I don't really go to. And we've talked about this before. I don't really go to many panels, and the events are kind of there. I just go there because I get to sit down, which is pretty nice, and just to kind of chill out.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
this already, first of all, I guess my question to you, Pixel, is how big is this hall going to be? Because this is a lot of events. And second of all, and a lot of computers too. And second of
Yes.
all, are you planning to, if you can, see any of these events live?
I don't think I'm going to be able to. Like, I'm not a big event person like this because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like this is something that I could probably watch by myself and just watch a VOD of.
Mm-hmm.
And, it probably won't take away too much from being there in the actual room, but that's just my personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I could just watch this online. And I feel like my time is better spent doing things that I can't do
Mm-hmm.
online or elsewhere, like going to meet and greets and
Right.
going to the actual convention hall floor and just exploring that.
Yeah.
But as far as like the size of these theaters, I'm betting that these are thousands of seats.
Have
They have to
you?
be.
Yeah. Have you looked up the location of TwitchCon, like the actual convention, like their webpage, or any
Um,
details about that to see how big the hall is by any chance?
I probably could find some, but I haven't actually looked that up.
Yeah, because
This
it.
is
Yeah.
the City National Civic Theater, where the PUBG tournament. That's actually something separate from the convention center. This is an
Oh.
actual like theater.
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
So this is like a performing arts center. So this is probably going to have like
It's across the
oh
street from the convention center at the City National Civic Center.
hmm
Interesting.
so that's probably going to have a different number of seating available, and probably we're looking what a couple thousand maybe.
Yeah,
That's
maybe.
probably like what you should expect
Hmm.
from any one of these places.
Yeah, I
So yeah, get there
okay.
early.
Yeah. Yeah, I will agree with you on the whole event type of thing. It just and you'll probably notice this when we talk TwitchCon and we talk BlizzCon next week, that there'll be some striking differences as to what we think is important and what not, what is and isn't important between TwitchCon and BlizzCon. But yeah, TwitchCon is really, a convention where it's all about the communities you're a part of and the streamers you watch first. And I really
Mhm.
believe panels and esports should come second. For me personally, these were
Yes.
things where I went with a group of people because the streamer I knew IRL or friends wanted to go, or there was downtime between meeting streamers, etc. And that's why I went.
Mhm.
I didn't go because, oh man, I really want to see the Fortnite fall skirmish. Forget everything else. I'm gonna go there first.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
like
I totally agree with you on your sentiment on, yeah, whatever. I can just watch a VOD on this. So probably obviously be better YouTube highlights or something, or the VODs will be better to watch on these type of things.
right.
It's also at the same time, I don't even think I watched the VODs for. I think I watched one match of the H1Z1 thing last year, and then I was like, I'm gonna go watch the VODs, and I don't think I ever watched the VODs because, to be fair, all three of these, or 3 out of 4 of these events, are battle royales, which don't
Mhm.
have the best spectator mode. Um, I will be interested to check out the blackout spectator mode because this seems to be
Mhm.
like the first tournament they're having for blackout since the game came out earlier this month. And then the GDQ thing, I will probably just watch YouTube highlights of, honestly.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, and I can understand if you're like a mega fan of the streamers that are playing in them,
yeah.
and you want to go to support them. That's totally cool. And that's if that's important to you, then by all means go to it and don't listen to us. It's all about just going to the things that you feel are most important to you.
Right. Definitely. But yeah, so those are some of the events and some of the highlights that are going to be there. But yeah, on to, I guess, what we'd say the meat and potatoes of this podcast episode, which ended up making our podcast notes way too long.
Yeah, way
It
way too long.
is the prepare for TwitchCon notes. Pixel's going to be heading up this thing, and I'll probably just be interjecting my own thoughts and stuff like that, and giving a little bit more details or bouncing ideas off of him, because he's really the one who wrote this whole section of the notes and stuff like that. And to be honest, he has more experience than I. So I guess we can just take it, I guess, like point by point, Pixel, and kind of like maybe
Sure.
add some details or do a little ranting in
Yeah.
between like each bullet point here. Unfortunately for you guys, there's no article for this. So if you guys don't know, every episode has show notes in them that are attached to a Google Doc, which are in the description of the podcast episode. So if you want to check out the notes that Pixel wrote, please go to the show notes, scroll down a little bit, and you will see everything that we're talking about here word for word. So Pixel, take it away, buddy.
All right. Well, first off, I want to apologize if this is a little bit scatterbrained. There isn't really much of a structure to this, so it's going to be a bit random. And yeah, feel free to interject with anything that pops into your mind.
Will do.
Yeah. So, all right. First off, why listen to me? Like, who's this guy that's giving advice on conventions and like TwitchCon and whatever? I'm a convention junkie. I've been to conventions ever since I was a kid. Like just going to New York Comic Con when it was in a basement of a church.
Dang. Yeah.
I've been to San Diego Comic Con over 10 times. I've been to BlizzCon. I've been to E3. I've been to WonderCon, TwitchCon, and probably others that I'm forgetting right now. So I love conventions, and I always try to think of ways just to make the experience a little more enjoyable. And so how do you do that? Like, how do you make the most of a convention that lasts like 3 days? You know how it feels like you're just there and you're going back home already. It feels like time just flies when you're having fun, and you want to make the most of it. So
I definitely agree with you on that point. Sorry to interject, but
no, go ahead.
For a lot of people who are going to these cons, you're going to be thinking, "Wow, I have 3 days to do everything, and I got everything. I'm ready to go." But the thing is that with a lot of cons, you're going to have to just, I would say, prepare a safety net. Plans are not going to go the way that you want to go. Certain events may be 15 to 20 minutes apart, and we're all humans. Things are going to get backed up. Things are going to happen early. They're going to go late. They're going to get delayed, whatever it may be. But yeah, TwitchCon is luckily 3 days, but it's going to go by incredibly fast. So be prepared for that. But anyway, keep going.
That point will lead into one of the points I want to make later on. But one of the things I found that helps make time feel slower is when you fill the day with a bunch of different activities, and not just like the same kind, but make them unique and different from one another. So when you do all these things, it makes the day feel like it's just bursting with all these memories and things. It just makes it feel so much longer. And this is one of those
specific example of that.
Okay. Well, this one con, it was actually TwitchCon 2 years ago. I woke up and I was like staying with a friend, and I woke up at like 6 a.m. I walked the dog. They had a dog with them that I was staying with, and I would just walk around, experience a new coffee shop that I've never been to. I would go and visit the convention center early and walk around there. Basically experiencing anything and everything that you possibly can, and not staying in one place too long. So that day I went to the keynote. I went to sit through other panels I never would have imagined going to because I had nothing planned. I walked around and talked to people. I went and I went to the art exhibit. I went to all these things that I didn't really think much of, but it made the day feel like I'd done so much. And it made it feel like it was worthwhile, like it felt like I was just making the most of my time. So I think really just packing your day with as many activities as you can is going to make you feel like it's just a really, really like nicely paced event.
Yeah,
You won't
definitely.
feel like things are flying by for sure.
Yeah. This is why Pixel made the notes, by the way, and not me, because I'm the exact opposite of Pixel. I go to a convention, I don't have any plans. I have maybe like one or two things that I really want to do, but besides that, I kind of just
Mhm.
am way too spontaneous for my own good. And I usually come off of it super happy. Like I've had no doubts doing that, like no regrets
Mhm.
or anything doing that. But it is good if you guys are especially going for
Yeah.
your first time, to definitely you want to plan things out and soak it all in,
Mhm.
and try to do
And
as much as you can possible, and have some type of like structure and list of
mhm.
things that you want to go to for sure.
And one of the things also that I've found is if you have a community meetup, usually if like you're part of a community, a Twitch channel, and you're all just gathering at one place, remember that there's a power to saying yes. And what I mean by that is if there's an event and they want to go like bar hopping or whatever like that, and you're not really comfortable with it, say yes. And I
Mm-hmm.
know this might be difficult for some people that don't like doing those kinds of activities,
Mm-hmm.
but trust me when I say that you will always be thankful that you at least tried and went and enjoyed that time with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because yeah, like we said earlier, it's like this event is about the people, it's about the community, it's about Twitch chat, you
Mm-hmm.
know, just as much as the streamers itself. And so getting yourself to like putting yourself out of your comfort zone and just saying yes to these kinds of events, these are going to really define the experience. And I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, with all of that. I would just say to, yeah, put yourself out there a little bit. I think one of the other things I would also say with that is that, most of us are pretty shy. We're kind of, I guess, introverted in a
Mhm.
way and not super sociable, I guess. I consider myself to be pretty sociable, but I know that there's people out there who aren't and stuff like that. And I would say, conventions like this are some of the best times to really like, break out of your shell,
Mhm.
especially if you're at like a community event or something with the same streamer or
Yeah.
whatever, because you guys should generally kind of know who you are in chat at least, and you generally have a common interest, which is the streamer, which
Mhm.
is good as well. Plus, you're also at TwitchCon, so if anything, there's this overarching topic of discussion that you guys can talk about.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. You
yeah.
can always like bring back like a memory to talk about, and you always have something to work from. If you're a big part of a community, you'll always have something to draw from and talk about.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's always great fun. Just break out of that shell and really embrace it.
Yeah. I mean, to kind of bounce off of that, on a personal note or whatever. I went to San Diego Comic Con by myself a couple years ago, and I was actually supposed to be going with a friend
Mm,
that he was planning to come to my house pretty early. We were supposed to drive down there, be down there around 8 or 9 o'clock. And he called me that morning. He's like, "Hey, I'm actually not going to be able to. I'm going to catch a ride with this other person, so you can go down without me." And I was like, "Man, should I come? Should I not?" And I ended up getting
mm,
a DM from somebody in another community, a moderator, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to go out and come meet us at this time at like 9:30, 10 o'clock?" And I was like, I didn't really want to be honest, because I was like, "Oh man, I don't want to drive to San Diego by myself." I was planning for my bro to go with me, like my homie, like, no, no, okay, whatever. And I was like, you know what, forget it. I'll just go. Like, why not? And it's usually not what I
mhm.
do because I really hate driving and I really hate going by myself. But I was like, you know what, sure. So I said yes. I went down, and lo and behold, it was the first time that I ended up meeting Pixel here.
Yeah.
Was actually at that meeting. So I wasn't planning to go by myself. I wasn't planning to go grab my ticket by myself or be there that early. I was planning to go, and it worked out. I met Pixel, and retrospectively, it worked out because that friend unfortunately was not able to make it down there until about 6 p.m. So
Ooh.
that whole night, that whole day would have literally just been like me probably annoyed and stressed out because a ticket was wasted for that. So, it
Right,
was
right.
definitely worth it. And that's just a personal example of like, yeah, just say yes, guys, even though, um, you're not too sociable, or you haven't been to a bar yet, or you haven't been to these kind of like nightly outings. You're with people that you generally know that are going to be generally friendly type of people, and won't force you to really do anything that you don't want to do.
Right, right.
So just go
Cool.
for it.
Totally. All right. Next thing. This is more of a planning thing. You can do anything you want, but you can't do everything. So what that means is there's all these things. If you look at the schedule on TwitchCon, there's so many things that you can go to, but you can't just like sit in like all these panels. You can't go to every single meet and greet. Sometimes you just have to sacrifice, and you really have to look at it and say, what are the most important things that I want to see? Say there's a streamer meet and greet, and you really, really, really want to like go meet this person, but it means having to sacrifice a panel or something like that. You have to choose between the two.
Right.
So you have to pick the most important things, and then you have to build your schedule around that. Plan for wait times. Maybe there's a really, really long line to see this person. Well, that means you have to budget like an hour or two, or maybe even more time just to actually be able to meet this person. And so you have to figure out what the most important things are and just build your schedule. Build your entire day around it if you can.
Right.
If it means that much to you, then you really have to like look at it, sacrifice what you need to, and get like, do what it takes to get that done.
Yeah, definitely. That's what my planning is, to be honest. It's usually 3 to 4 things that I have in the books I'm going to do no matter what. Even if that means I'm going to solo queue it, whether that means, a friend's going to come, or if my friend doesn't want to go or something like that, I'm perfectly okay with going to conventions by myself. So it is one of those things where I just say these are the 3 or 4 things, and then anything in between, the things at 2 o'clock, then it's like, okay, anything before, let's say 1:30, I'm good. But I would also say to plan ahead and to just, when you're looking at schedules or time slots for TwitchCon, if the panel is at 2, I'm the type of person who likes to get to things early and substantially early, even if that means that it's really going to cut into time of other things, just so I'm guaranteed to, let's say a panel's at 2, I like to arrive around 1:30, even sometimes even earlier than that. 1:25 if I'm the first in line for the meet and greet, just so that I'm first in line or very close to being first in line, so that by 2 o'clock when it starts, I'm already up there. I say my thing, it's done, and now I can move on to the next thing. So I would also say, plan accordingly, but also try to get there substantially early, also depending on what the event is. So, play that out by ear as well.
Yeah, it's hard to tell like how long things will actually take or how many hours you should plan for. Like, say if you wanted to meet Ninja and get in that meet and greet line, how many hours do you need to wait, and how many hours do you need to plan in advance to get in that line? So this is like, it's kind of hard to tell because this is new. I can't give like a specific number of hours because I have absolutely no idea. But I would say ask a lot of questions, ask the staff where these lines are going to be. Like I think like for Ninja, I think he's on a Saturday or something like that.
He's having multiples though. But
Oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah, he's having multiples. He has his own booth there called Team Ninja.
Yeah. So. Ooh, okay. One bit of advice I can give is get there early Friday and figure out where lines are going to be.
Yeah.
So ask staff, like, what's the procedure? Where are things going to happen? So you can go directly there instead of trying to figure it out the day of. And like when you have limited time.
Yeah. Also, I would add to that, by the way, ask multiple staff as well. There's been so many conventions that I've gone to where I have been like, hey, when is so-and-so going to be here? Or is this the line for this type of meetup at this time? And the staff member will be like, yeah, I'll be waiting there the whole time. And maybe 10 minutes before the thing, another staff member comes by and is like, what are you doing here? I was like, oh, so-and-so, a staff member told me that this is the line for XYZ. What? No, you need to move out of here. This is not the line. So, yeah. On top of that, ask multiple staff the same question so you can get a consistency report. I would also say that I know this is a little hard, but this is super helpful. Try to remember the name of the staff members that you've asked. I know that's super contrived and stuff like that, but it's actually super helpful because I've had situations when I've gone to TwitchCon or BlizzCon where I've been, where somebody was like, what are you doing here? I'm like, well, Chris, I talked to Chris around 1:30. I'm just giving a name. It's not the actual person's name, okay? But where I was like, well, Chris, I was here around 1:30, and one of the staff security guards here named Chris told me so and so, and it's good to be able to give an actual legitimate name. The staff member actually radioed Chris and asked them, "Hey, I have a person here. They said that you said this about him. Were you giving wrong information, or am I misinformed?" And they realized they were actually misinformed, and I was actually in the right place. So I know that's a little contrived and that's a little hard with everything going on, but you have a cell phone, maybe possibly write down the staff member's name just in case there's conflicting reports or something.
Yeah. Agreed.
But in multiple staff members as well to try to get some type of consistency going with your story, just to double check things, because it is going to be chaotic, and we've talked about this before, but it is going to be probably the most crowded TwitchCon that's ever been. Just because of the blowing up of Fortnite. I personally know people in my lives who are not people who watch Twitch at all, but they are going to TwitchCon so that their kids can meet Dr. Lupo, so their kids can meet Ninja and stuff like that. And they don't even know a clue about what Twitch is. They just heard their favorite YouTuber Ninja is going to be at this convention for a meet and greet. So it is going to be crowded. So also some staff members might not hear what you're saying exactly, or just kind of answer you to kind of brush you off. So ask multiple staff members. Yeah.
Yep. Ask staff, not security. Security probably doesn't know what's going on. So always ask staff.
Definitely.
All right. Moving on. Let's jump to merch shopping. This is something I think that everybody should do early on. Early in the day, as early as you possibly can, because things run out. You might not get what you want. Plus, it's nice to just check that off the list and just move on with the convention.
Right.
So if it doesn't get conflicted with anything else, just get it done early. And you'll be much happier having done something, having finished something.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not a huge merch guy, so this is something that I don't really have much to add to be honest. But also just there's also just pages upon pages on the TwitchCon official website that have the the merch that is going to be purchasable this year. So go check out there, check out the prices there, check out what you want to get and stuff. And like Pixel said, get there pretty early, substantially early, to be able to get what you want to get or whatever. Because if not, you're probably not going to get anything, to be honest, unfortunately.
Yeah. And if they did something like last year, they might actually have pop-up booths all over the convention exhibit hall where you can just buy certain things there. Maybe not everything, but like some of the more popular stuff you can get. Right. So check to see if there's one of those this year.
Yeah, that would be very good too.
Next, beware of your surroundings. You never know who you might see. Now, this is something that I've noticed at conventions, is that when you're just walking around, there are always like a number of just celebrities walking with you.
Yeah.
But no one ever actually realizes it because they're all just kind of keeping their heads down. They have like a place that they need to be. If someone is actually focused on getting somewhere, they never really see what's around them. They never notice these things.
Right.
And so when you're walking around TwitchCon, take some time and just like look around. Just see if that person is someone you might recognize, because chances are you might actually recognize them. It's like, oh, wait, that's Summit 1G, or like, oh, hey, there's Doc.
Yeah, I've actually just funny that you say that, because I've literally the first TwitchCon I went to, Summit walked right past me, and I just asked him for a picture. And he's like, yeah, sure, man. And he just took a picture with me and he kept walking. Yeah. So yeah, I randomly just ran into Summit 1G, just casually walking the floor, nobody with them, no one really, just kind of just chilling. So yeah.
That happened to me at E3 a couple of years ago. I ran into Pokimane.
Nice.
And it was just so random. I was just walking, and then she just basically walks past me. I turn around and I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
That's Pokimane. Yeah. And so I came up to her and asked for a picture. She's like, yeah, cool. Yeah, sure. I'll take one. And yeah, that's like, you never realize what you actually miss until you just like actually pay attention to your surroundings.
Yeah. So put your phones away. Okay, guys?
Put your phones away, yes.
Put your phones away, focus on your surroundings and see who is out there and around you and stuff like that. And
be in the moment. You're there. This is not the time for social media.
Yeah, definitely not. You can post your social media after the event. It's
Yes.
perfectly fine. I don't mind
Then you
seeing
have
all
my
of your
version.
Instagram stories where you have 50 photos literally posted within 10 minutes because you just dump everything up. Okay, I don't mind seeing it. All right, guys, fine.
Yes. You have my permission after the convention.
Yes.
And this leads into my next thing. So what happens if you do spot a streamer in the crowd? So
You start freaking out and screaming, right?
yes, you scream like a little girl, you run at them with your hands up in the air, and you grab them and you hug them.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
you do not do that.
There's actually some stories from last TwitchCon that I have heard from streamers personally where that literally happened, and it scared it scared the crap out. Like one of them was a female, and one of them was a female streamer, and another one was a male streamer. But they were like literally walking down the hall, and they just like are coming towards somebody, and the person kind of just like stops dead in their tracks, stares at them, screams as loud as they can, and literally just bum rushes them and like hugs them. But they were
Oh
like
my
so
God.
shook that they were like, "Oh my gosh!" Like this, you know what I mean? They thought it was like, someone was after them.
That's
You know what I mean? Like that's pretty
horrifying.
scary. So
That's
don't do that, guys.
horrifying.
So you honestly don't
Yes,
do that though.
please don't.
Yeah, please
Okay,
don't do that,
so I
guys.
think it's difficult because sometimes we see these streamers on Twitch and we forget that they also have their own wants and needs and desires. They are still people, and they're not just like these things like that you watch on a stream. They're still people.
Right.
And it's always important to remember that they need their own personal space. They need their own little personal bubble as well.
Right.
So you always want to maintain that, and it's just like with cosplay, cosplay is not consent. You cannot just like go up to them and just like squeeze them.
Right. Sorry, it's just a weird way to put it, but I agree. Yeah, I know, I totally agree. I think one of the things that we tend to forget about, and it's one of my things that some of the issues I do have with TwitchCon, is just kind of the whole vibe of it is really that it's almost like they pitch TwitchCon as almost like a zoo. Sometimes I feel like pay $100 and come guaranteed to meet your streamer, and gawk at them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you said earlier. It's like sometimes it feels like a zoo, and sometimes they're not treated like people, and you have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with this. It's hard for me personally, I'm not the type of person to really get starstruck or freaked out about, like, especially a Twitch streamer. You know what I mean? For me just for me personally. So I think just, we're going to keep going with this, but I would just say, guys, remember your social cues. But in all seriousness, they're just a person. They're you or me. They play video games on a stream. You know what I mean? And just treat them like a person first and foremost,
Yeah, exactly. Just treat them like any other person. Like, hey, I love your stream. Can I grab a picture? Thank you. Say, just remembering simple things like that. And sometimes it can be hard if you're meeting someone who is extremely popular. And I know how difficult that can be. You just forget.
Right.
So, yeah.
If I could also add to that, I would also say a couple things of advice, and these really have helped me when I've met streamers and stuff like that. Remember that pretty much everything about the streamer, but they really don't know anything about you. So that's something really important to do. As you guys know, I'm not a very big streamer, but I have met a handful of people at BlizzCon and stuff like that. And, it's all good. I don't have any beef with them. They still watch my stream. I love you guys. Shout out to you. You know who I'm talking about. But it is kind of bizarre. The first time I met some people who have watched my stream and they know things about me that I just totally forget, They're coming up to me like, hey, how's your dog Zoe? Like, whoa. Like, what the heck? Like, yeah, you said last stream that she had to go to the vet for this, and this. And it's just like, whoa, wait, who are you? I'm sorry. Like, I've never met, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like not in a bad way, but it is overwhelming. So keep that in mind, guys, that, it is kind of in a way like a one-way relationship in almost a sense, because you hear them you see them visually and you hear them auditorily, and all they know is that you type in chat or you're a subscriber. Right. So keep that in mind that, you know a lot about them. They don't know anything about you. So, try to contain it and try to be, a little bit more gentle when it comes to talking to them or first meeting them and stuff. And then kind of
Yeah.
also on top of that, I would also say introduce yourself with your username, especially if you're a pretty active
Yes.
chatter or subscriber. I've been told by streamers that helps them a lot. And from my personal
Mm-hmm.
experience, that has helped a lot for me too. Hey guys, how's it going? Oh, it's great to meet you. And just, my name's Kubo, by the way, in your chat. Just immediately just start off with that. You know what I mean? And that will usually help break the ice. Oh my gosh, Kubo, yeah, this like a sub, or introducing yourself. Hey, I'm Kubo. I'm your 12-month resub or whatever. You know what I mean? And saying your
Right.
username or something like that is
Yeah,
pretty helpful
exactly.
too.
Yeah, totally. And you don't even need to like have an icebreaker or anything. You can always just tell them, hey, I love your stream.
Mm-hmm.
I love your content. I love what you did in this game or whatever. You don't really have to like give them like a whole story or anything
Right,
like that.
right,
You
yeah.
can always just like have the interaction be really, really simple. And yeah, it can just be that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you say something dumb, you can always just like change your username. So
Literally just change your username. Yeah, just there's a C
Don't worry.
there's a C Benny program that shows usernames change though. I just want to let you know that, guys, all right? Us mods out here, I have so many people who have changed their name on me. I can type it in site. It shows me how many times you guys have changed your name, okay? But yeah, I guess if you say something really dumb, you can change your name. You can change your username as well. Good luck. I agree.
All right. So I think we can move on from that. But here's something kind of related too.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, I don't like saying this because I want to believe that people are decent and they do this without me needing to say something.
Okay.
But showering and wearing deodorant.
Okay, let's clear the elephant in the room, Pixel, right now, and lose all our viewers and all of our listeners and stuff like that.
Wait,
It's
did
fine.
your mic cut out?
Hello?
Hey, you're back.
Okay, yeah, let's just cut through all that. Okay, let's just talk about it, Pixel. It's fine.
All right.
You guys need to shower and deodorants. I'm just gonna say this one time, okay? San Diego Comic-Con 2016, they gave out in the goodie bag deodorant and soap and shower stuff
mints.
and breath mints. Okay, they knew, guys. All right.
Like, please use those.
Yeah.
Yes. So I know it wasn't a huge issue, but if you're going to be in close proximity to other people and in tight quarters like a convention, you're waiting in line,
Mm-hmm.
you really have to just be respectful of other people.
Right.
And you need to make sure that you're not offensive to others.
Yeah. I will say this. I'm a sweaty dude. I won't deny that on this podcast, right? For anyone who's met me or whatever, just bring a change of shirt at least. You know what I mean? Honestly, that's what I do. If I know that I'm going to be at a convention, for example, BlizzCon, I live pretty close by, but not close enough to justify me going back home and coming back. I'm going to be taking an Uber though. But I'm actually going to bring, a change of clothes. I'm legit going to bring, in my little duffel bag, maybe an extra shirt, a jacket, etc. And then, whatever I'm wearing that day, once night comes, just out of the decency of everyone, I'm going to just change my shirt. You know what I mean? Just to be a little bit more, decent, just in case any of that type of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Ends up occurring. But yeah, definitely, shower, deodorant. That's pretty good as well.
Mm-hmm. And that actually reminds me of something else regarding clothing. Weather during San Jose's convention. Weather in San Jose, it's going to be between 55 and 75. So that means it's not going to be SoCal weather. So bring some layers. It's going to be a little chilly at night. So
except you people from the East Coast, okay? Whatever.
Yeah,
you guys can deal with it. you guys can bring your
shorts
shorts
can wear
out.
shirt and shorts.
Yeah. But for us in SoCal, where we're located, right, it's gonna be freezing. We're gonna be dying. All right. But yeah, no, that's a good point or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was also gonna say, actually, I think we kind of talked about this, but kind of back to like the meeting streamers and people or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing I kind of wanted to point on that I think we kind of talked about, but I think I just want to explicitly say is just keep in mind people's like personal bubbles when meeting people, whether that be a streamer, whether that be a friend you're first meeting IRL, or someone from the community that you're with or whatever, because some people don't do handshakes and don't do hugs or whatever. And
Yes,
so just
yes.
keep that in mind. So for me, for example, I'm not actually like a big hugger, but I won't like deny someone's hug. But I'm not gonna like straight up come up
Mhm.
to you and like hug you, right? I'm just not that type of
Yeah.
person. I'll like shake your hand. I'm more of a handshaker, you know what I mean? But I'm not gonna deny
Mhm.
people and freak out if someone tries to give me a hug. It's whatever.
Oh,
But
yeah.
just kind of feel that out or whatever when
Mhm.
first meeting people or whatever.
Yeah, and if worst comes to worst, you can just ask like, "Hey, bring it in, prepare yourself." And then if you notice that they're not like reacting well, you back
Then you
off.
change your username.
You change your
You change your
username and you
username, right?
leave Twitch forever.
You pull out someone else's username. You're like, yeah, I'm so and so from the. No, I'm just kidding. You don't do that. But yeah. Sorry. Continue
Yeah.
though. Back to what we were originally talking about, just about being a
Alright.
decent human being as well.
But yes, just like ask, ask for a picture, just like ask for permission before you do anything like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've asked a number of things, and I'm not really too embarrassed to ask people, and I think they respect you and kind of remember you a bit more too as well.
Mhm.
Is it cool if I give you a hug? Is it cool if I put my arm around you?
Mhm.
Is it cool if I give you a gift that I made you? I haven't done that yet, but just like little things like that. Don't just
Mhm.
assume that like I said, once again, it comes back to the thing. You know everything about this streamer, but they have no idea who you are. You could be
Exactly.
somebody that they banned 12 months ago because you were super toxic. You could be their highest bit donator, a top donator. You could be a new sub. You could be a sub that's been around for 4 years. You could be somewhere in the middle. They don't know that. So don't just assume
Mhm.
that, hugging them, putting your arm around them during a picture, hey, is it cool, doing something weird or funny that, is an inside joke with them. They don't know who you are. So just ask along the
Exactly.
way and don't be afraid to ask because it might cause issues during
Mhm.
or afterwards. You don't want to have the reputation in the community of, oh, that's such and such, and his username is linked to that guy who was not very
Mhm.
kind to me or was very rude to me or
Right.
affected my personal space. So yeah,
Exactly. You don't want to be remembered as that person.
definitely not.
So, all right. Um, Next point. Wearing comfortable shoes. That means no sandals, no dress shoes, unless the situation
Yep.
calls for it. So
Yep. Yep.
this, okay. So for a lot of people, this is going to be a lot of walking. Like you can easily cover about 10 miles a day,
Yeah.
easily. So if you're not used to that amount of walking and
Mhm.
being on your feet all day long, this is going to be new. This is going to be a new level of pain.
Oh, definitely. I will say, like I said, we haven't seen insides, unfortunately, of this TwitchCon, but from the last two TwitchCons, for whatever reason, TwitchCon does not like having seats.
I
Like
know, right?
BlizzCon, there's seats everywhere, so honestly, my feet do not kill me as much when I go to BlizzCon. But for some reason, at TwitchCon, there's like almost nowhere to sit for some reason.
You have a
So
ground.
yeah,
That's it.
literally the ground, which doesn't make it worse because I kind of have like slight back issues for me. Not nothing major or whatever, but it does like kind of affect me after a while where I get like a stiff back as well. So it doesn't help. Like I'm like, all
Mhm,
right, either my feet killing me or stiff back.
mhm.
Um, don't be 2013 Kubo, who ended up going to his first BlizzCon with Converse shoes on and
Ooh,
staying
no.
the whole day there. I was literally dying afterwards. So
Yes. Converse, they look nice, but after a couple miles, they do not feel good.
yeah, so
So,
yeah.
like, wear something comfortable, some running shoes or hiking shoes if you've got them. I know they're going to look like crap, and you're not. Sometimes you want to look your best, but if you know you're going to be walking around a lot, put them on.
Like I said, change the clothes, bring them in the little duffel bag thing or whatever. If you really want to look good later, most likely some of you guys will be around the convention, so you guys can always bring multiple pairs of shoes. That
Hmm.
also goes for shirts and just pants and
Socks.
clothing and stuff like that. Yeah, and socks as well. Comfortable, everything is better rather than trying to look your best for whatever reason. I would always go with the comfortable portion. So
Hmm. And these are some things that are just like random things to have that are good to have. Now, hand sanitizer. People are gross. Let's just get that out of the way. People are
yeah,
freaking gross. And every surface you come into contact with is going to be touched by all of these gross people that
yeah.
you have no idea where their hands have been. So bring some hand sanitizer. and just keep it in your pocket at all times. You touch a surface that's questionable, that a lot of people are touching, door handles, handrails, elevator buttons, things like that. Like, you just want to keep yourself clean. Don't touch your face, because who knows where that stuff has been.
And no rubbing your eyes, people.
Yeah, exactly. So this is just things that prevent the con flu, and everybody knows about this, because someone inevitably is going to go to this convention while they're sick, and they're going to spread all their germs. And so it's better to just like protect yourself as much as you can, so you don't come back home and you're spending another week in bed.
Right. Exactly.
Another good thing to have is a battery bank. So for those who don't know what that is, it's basically just a battery that you carry around that you can charge your phone with. And this is really helpful in case you don't have a charger. You don't want to bring a charger cable with you. So you can just, like, in an emergency, pop it in and you'd have a full charge on your phone.
Yeah.
Now they even sell like solar charged ones. So you can like just sit out in the sun and charge your phone.
Right.
Like, so this is just something that's really good to have. And it's so useful in a pinch if you run out of battery and you need to like call an Uber or something like that. So always have a spare battery.
Yeah. To add to that, I actually just went and bought 2 little mini things of hand sanitizer, for like travel size things of hand sanitizer for BlizzCon. They were like 80 cents each. It's not that much money, people. So go and to get a couple of those or whatever, definitely. I would also say that, I usually bring a small power bank. I actually need to charge mine, but I usually have a power bank with me. And my phone also is able to do supercharging. And so I've always brought my phone as well. And usually not on site, but if you do go to a restaurant or something later on, and if your phone does have supercharging, luckily mine does, it's like 75% in 30 minutes or something. You guys do go to a restaurant or some type of off-site area, a lot of the times when I was at TwitchCon, when I didn't have my power bank, I would, ask the wait staff there, hey, is there any way that you guys can put, charge this phone? Here's the charger. Can you plug this in and charge it for 30 minutes and just remember your phone afterwards?
Right.
So definitely do that. I'd also say that one of the things that's really helped me avoid the BlizzCon or con flu, which I've only gotten 1 year since I've ever gone to conventions, and I don't know if this is a placebo thing or if this actually really does help, but what am going to start doing, actually starting tomorrow, is I've also been just taking emergency, which is just like the vitamin C, like supplement or whatever. I usually take one of those a day for a week leading up to the convention that I go to. I don't know if it helps. It's like apparently an immune booster. It might just be a placebo effect. All right. Any doctors, please don't email me and tell me that it is. Whatever. Okay. I want to do it. But that's what I end up doing, is just taking like extra multivitamins and extra vitamins in general to just prevent sickness or whatever. So that's a couple of things that I do. But yeah, just go get your hand sanitizer, people. And you should be fine. Hand sanitizer, like Pixel mentioned, do not rub your face. Battery packs are great. And if all else fails, you don't have a battery pack, bring your charger. Most places will allow you to charge up. I also will say that I believe BlizzCon and TwitchCon had these, but they actually had little booths where you could put your phone in the booth and charge it. They were like lockers. You remember that?
So yeah. They're like they actually are the battery banks. You can like rent them or something like that.
Yeah,
and you charge your phone. You bring them back.
Yeah, they were free or whatever. They just have a little code or something on them. I forgot how it exactly works or something like that. But before you put your phone in, the phone tells you what the code is to unlock the locker or something like that. You plug it in and then you just kind of walk away. They're a hit and miss. They're not that great at charging, to be honest, because they're usually charging 12 devices at one time. But it's something that's there.
And one thing I should mention, after all these things I've told you to bring along with you, TwitchCon does not allow bags.
Right.
Was it over a certain size or just bags, period?
It was pretty much like the size of a backpack. They didn't want anything that was like a backpack size, but they are letting like those drawstring, like cheap $1 like little bags in or whatever. So
okay. So yeah, keep that in mind. Don't bring a bag that's too big, but you can pack some of these things in there, like a battery bank or hand sanitizer. So these are just good things to have, like in a pouch or like a waist pack. If you want to go full tourist mode and get a fanny pack.
To be honest, what I usually do, and this is just for me, is I'm pretty sensitive to the cold, so usually I like to wear a jacket with me anyway. And so I usually have jackets with zippers in the pockets or whatever. So that's where I'll store
Mm-hmm.
my battery pack or my charger or something, and just keep it in there. You know what I mean? So that my
Mm-hmm.
main pockets are freed up or whatever. That's usually what I do personally.
Cool. Yeah, good advice.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that's it as far as my general advice goes. I
Hmm.
don't know if you have anything else that you wanted to add, just random thoughts.
No, not really. It's kind of weird for me to. I just want to say thanks for Pixel for writing this all out. I didn't expect him to write it out, but I'm really glad that he did and stuff like that. I know that he's been preparing it for a while, so I appreciate that. I will
Mhm.
say it is kind of
Well,
weird that I'm not going to TwitchCon this year since we did meet at TwitchCon 2 years ago.
yeah, this
So
sucks, man.
yeah, it is what it is. Money and time and stuff like that, and
Mm,
I don't know.
hopefully next year it's going to be down in SoCal again.
Yeah. I'm hoping that it is too, or at least tell us. Like the thing for me is like, at least with BlizzCon, we know that it's gonna be where it's at every year around the same time, and I really
Hmm.
just wish that if it's gonna be in NorCal next year, that's fine. But at least I hope that they can get enough money eventually, or whatever it might be, secure these locations a little bit earlier, just so
Hmm.
that we know for sure it's going to be in Northern California or for sure it's going to be in LA next year. You know what I mean? Just like something, give us something to tell us, like,
Yeah.
give us the same location every year. That's what I would prefer, but I don't know if
Hmm.
Twitch, is able to do that. Um,
Right.
and there might be a reason why they're switching locations every single year.
Yeah, they're
Um,
probably chasing the lowest cost, to be honest.
yeah.
Whichever one is giving the best price for the convention.
Right. I will say I know last year it was in Long Beach because they had just opened up like an Amazon warehouse there. And
Hmm.
that city had just won a bid, and I think like they announced it during the convention, so I think that was like
Yeah.
kind of Long Beach's thing of saying like, hey, come here for this convention, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
kind of hosting that. But yeah, I mean, hopefully you have fun, Pixel. I don't know if there's like anything you want to talk about as in regards to, for you personally, excited about announcements there, or any on the ground things you're really excited to do, or any activities you're really excited to look forward to for you personally.
For me personally, the most exciting thing that the best thing that I'm waiting for is just meeting the people that I've been chatting with and just watching streams with for the past year.
Yeah.
So, for those who know, I'm going to be hanging out with your Nadia, and we're just going to be hanging around the entire weekend together, just doing stuff. And that I think is the best possible TwitchCon for me,
Hmm.
is just hanging out and doing all these fun activities together.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully you have a good time. Hopefully you're safe. Hopefully you follow your own advice on all of these
Yes,
things,
hopefully I
especially
remember all these
shower and
things.
wear your deodorant. Um,
Shower. Pff,
yeah. So,
just change my name.
kind of like we said at the top of the show, guys, there is an episode of Deep Thoughts podcast on Friday morning at 11 a.m. going over the keynote, and then right afterwards we'll be talking about all of the Twitch changes, if there was any big Twitch changes. So I will be recording and streaming that on Friday morning. So I will be here once the keynote is over. We will sit down and talk talk about that. But if nothing really is interesting, we haven't heard any leaks or rumors of anything that Twitch is going to announce. So if they don't announce anything
Yeah.
very interesting, it might just be a very quick, short mini episode. It's a special episode. We're not going to call it episode 11. We're going to call it episode 10.5.
Mhm.
But also, because Pixel will be gone at TwitchCon this weekend, Tuesday's episode, like we said at the top of the show, will be his recap about TwitchCon, his thoughts on anything interesting announced at the keynote, and then we will go into a BlizzCon prep and discuss, our BlizzCon experiences in the past and all that type of crazy
Oh
stuff. So
boy.
it's gonna be a pretty busy week, but I think that's pretty much it for this episode. But Pixel,
Mhm.
where can they find you?
You can find me at my Twitch channel, pixel_pusher101, or you can pop by my Twitter, which is pixelpusher101 without the underscore.
He'll be using both during TwitchCon. Trust me, guys.
Yes, live streaming.
Live streaming there, all that type of stuff. I'm Ryan, of course. If you guys are watching this stream right now, you can, you know what it is. But for the audio listeners out there, we do record / stream this podcast over at twitch.tv/Ryan Kubo every Tuesday night or so around 9 p.m. PST. So for all you audio listeners, I know we have a ton of you guys out there, or you could come by, follow the stream, check it out, see what we look like as well. You can also check out my Twitter, which is twitter.com/Ryan Kubo, the main place for all things me and the podcast. I've also been trying to raise my Instagram clout because apparently people love Instagram. So instagram.com/Ryan Kubo if you want to see pictures of me or what I've eaten for lunch or something like that. And also Deep Thoughts podcast has its own Twitter, has worst Twitter handle in the world, but that is capital DTOUGHTS pod.
So DeepThoughts pod.
DeepThoughts pod. And if you guys just go to my Twitter, twitter.com/Ryan Kubo, check out the description there. There is links to the Deep Thoughts podcast Twitter. And that's pretty much just a generalized feed for everyone to know our updates, what's coming out, and etc. for that. And but yeah, guys, thanks so much for tuning into the podcast. 10 episodes in the bank. I hope that you found the TwitchCon advice useful. And just a small reminder that it's not just TwitchCon advice, but it is convention advice in general. So it will apply to any convention that you're going to. I will say, Pixel, be safe. I know we won't be talking much off stream past Thursday, right? Thursday, right? You're heading out?
Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, Thursday I'm leaving.
Okay, got it. And so I also just want to, send well wishes to anyone else who's also traveling to TwitchCon this week, tonight or tomorrow or whenever that may be. Hope you guys are safe. Hope you guys have a great time and enjoy it. I know that I will be here just consuming all the media and all the streams from over here, which is probably the best way to enjoy TwitchCon if you just want to see an overall big picture. So stay safe to all our listeners and all our viewers as well that are heading out and traveling to TwitchCon, guys. Be safe. Stay clean, stay hydrated.
Have fun, guys.
And have a ton of fun is most importantly it. But anyway, guys, that wraps it up for episode number 10 of the Deep Thoughts podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening / watching, and we will see you guys next week with our TwitchCon recap instead of prep. Take care, guys.
Until next time.